Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Coin Gamma Show. We are this is a episode I'm very excited about. We have an illustrious guest who actually shares similar cultural background to myself. So for those who don't know, I am born to Haitian parents. Haitian blood runs in me. And when I even discovered cryptocurrency years ago, Haiti was one of the places that I thought about where it could kind of make a huge impact. And it's great that I'm able to connect with somebody that knows even more about Haiti than I do and also saw the same vision. We're happy to have Daniel Silva on our podcast today. He's a principal at Signa Systems, based out in DC. They're a management consulting company that invests in Africa and the Caribbean. He's also the chief operating officer of DMS International, which is also a transformation and information technology company. He's done a lot of other things. I think it's best for him to tell us more about himself than me trying to pick out the best parts of his background just because he has such a great resume. Daniel, thank you for spending time with us this morning, and please fill us in on your background and your story.
Thank you, Fritz, for the kind introduction. And essentially, my background is academically, I'm a computer science major person. Sure. And over time, I got into business and went into an executive program at Harvard Business School as far as the business aspect or running a business is concerned.
Of course.
So I have both the computer science and the business blend.
That's powerful.
So I could say throughout my career, it's all been about data management in general. In fact, my company, DMS International, the DMS stands for Data Management Services.
Okay.
So for the past 30 years, we've been dealing with data sure. management, data security, database development, database administration.
Okay.
So data itself is something that has become part of ourselves here.
Of course.
It's perfectly normal that the evolution of data management lead to blockchain.
Of course.
Because in fact, blockchain is a natural stage of data management. It's just like machine learning is getting into that space of data management.
Of course.
So it's all about data management.
That's awesome. So tell us about, I guess, when did you discover blockchain, obviously, because you are a data management professional. Blockchain is an evolution of the database. So I guess, how did you come across it? What did you think when you came across it?
Well, as a normal or a natural researcher, I fell upon the blockchain technology or the distributed ledger technology about 3 years ago. But more so as an investment than an actual technology for me to manipulate and use.
Right.
So as I got excited about investing in Bitcoin and Ethereum and other tokens, I fell upon the platform that supports those tokens. Right. That's exactly what we do. The only thing is that this is a more sustainable form of data management of sort.
Sure.
Since for the past 10 years, databases have been the subject of hacking and security issues. Distributed ledger technology seem to have brought upon some strength as far as security is concerned of the database. So we dive into the technology to understand it better And now we are really passionate about DLT, which is distributed ledger technology.
That's great. That's great. So obviously, from your background and your new interest, Haiti is of interest for you, right? So when did you think, what about it do you think is applicable to Haiti? I think you have a lot of views on this, so we can kind of go into different subjects. But I guess, what was the first moment was it as soon as you heard about Bitcoin, you said, hey, this could be something I could use to send money back home, or what was it?
Yes, indeed, as we were trading tokens,
sure,
Bitcoins and Ethereum and Litecoins, just to name a few, we thought that technology could certainly help as far as remittances is concerned.
Sure.
Quick transfers, because as a business person that does business both in the US and Haiti, sometimes we have to transfer relatively large amounts of money.
Of course.
And it takes time. It takes days before those monies get into the right accounts. And with all the pressure that brings in terms of will it get to the actual account that we send it to and things of that nature.
Right.
So that was an enlightening it brought some light into our business, international business.
Of course. Beautiful. Before we kind of get into the details, I'm going to ask you to do something that may be hard for you to do within a few minutes, but we'll try our best, right? So, obviously Haiti became top of mind again for a lot of the world about 9.5 years ago during the earthquake. And there's been a lot of things that have gone on since then. And it seemed over the past few years that Haiti was turning a corner and becoming much improved, right? And then, now this year people have seen a lot of unrest. The city shut down, a lot of burned tires, stuff like that. I don't know if it's overblown and that was just a minor moment, or like what I guess for people that don't know much about Haiti or what's going on right now, what's going on right now if they just saw on CNN some protests lately?
Well, it's a long subject.
Sure.
However, I'll put it simply.
Sure.
In order to shorten what's going on right now.
Sure.
The key word, the operative word is trust here. Right. And trust goes very well with blockchain.
Of course.
Because, the technology lying on the blockchain is about trust.
Of course.
Right? And the problem in Haiti right now is a trust issue between those that govern and those that are being governed.
Sure.
And it's based upon actions that people have, done towards others, which create the mistrust factor.
Sure.
And which leads to protest, very often, I would say rightfully so.
Okay.
So it's a problem that will not be resolved until, some form of trust is brought upon people among themselves.
Sure.
So it's a trust issue.
Sure.
The people are protesting because they feel that the ones that are governing are, not acting on their behalf.
Sure.
But acting on behalf of themselves.
Right.
So they never trust, the other one the ones that they've delegated
of course.
their votes to.
Sure.
So until there is a mechanism that's put in place to bring people together, and that's trust, there will continue to be protests and wanting to change government mid-course, things of that nature. So it's a trust factor. So if somehow we can use distributed ledger technology to take some of the trust issue out of the human factor,
Right.
I think there is a lot that could be resolved just there. Sometimes people say, well, technology does not solve issues. It depends on how you use
Of
technology.
course. Of course.
And if technology can touch directly the area of trust in Haiti, and I would say in a lot of the emerging countries that have yet to be fully developed, I believe that people that should be receiving their benefits will feel more comfortable
Of course.
in terms of the governance issue.
Sure, sure. No, that makes sense. That makes sense. I mean, on that point, this is a perfect segue because you just wrote a long blog post around crypto in Haiti, how crypto could help Haiti, and obviously you just illustrated a bit of it now. So I guess what's your full vision for using crypto in Haiti or blockchain in Haiti? I think it has many facets, but I guess we could start with the top vision and we could kind of go to the different use cases.
Yes, as you well know, cryptocurrency started on the premise that somehow trust again, because
Right.
after the crash of 2008,
Of course.
people felt that they were abused by financial institutions
Right.
and institutions in general. So they decided, why couldn't we work peer to peer
Right.
and somehow run our own governance or financial governance of
Sure.
sorts. So it's not just Haiti. The trust factor is extremely important
Of course.
in human life in general. So as I looked at Bitcoin at the time and the other currencies, I thought that somehow that could be brought to that society and have people start using such platform to exchange
Right.
and not necessarily have to use the fiat currency.
Right.
But as I moved along and somehow felt the resistance as far as the society
Of course.
buying into the usage of such currency, I did some research and found that even the IMF, Christine Lagarde, the director of IMF, is currently promoting the fact that central banks worldwide should start thinking about using cryptocurrency.
Of course.
And that again it disforms somehow the way that the Bitcoin or the blockchain, the cryptocurrency world started, because if you are talking about central banks issuing a cryptocurrency, it
Right.
centralizes,
Right.
the thing again, which
Sure.
goes against the way that thing started. However,
Right.
I think it's much better than not having it at all.
I agree.
So I went into researching the area of having a central bank, in
Of
the
course.
case of Haiti,
Right.
having the central bank issuing its own crypto good, because
Right.
good is the denomination of the Haitian currency.
Sure.
And that in itself would be quite different than the social movement around cryptocurrency.
Right.
However, it would put some order in the world of the Haitian currency, which loses value every month or so,
Of course. Of course.
vis-a-vis the dollar.
Of course.
However, if somehow you can insert a cryptocurrency, at least to replace the e-money that's floating around, because transfers are electronic monies, mobile payments are electronic monies.
Of course.
The credit cards and the debit cards that are being used. So all that electronic money space is floating without the control or at least the acknowledgement of the central bank.
Right.
So if somehow central bank can say, well, I have a set amount of cryptocurrency that will occupy that electronic money space. So
Right.
we'll keep our, fiat stuff
Right.
there, but at least that electronic space will put some value into it, so
Right.
that in my monetary policy, I can say this is how much value my country has. In fact, it would immediately enlarge the amount of money that the country transact upon.
Right. No, it makes sense.
You see what I'm saying?
Sure.
That electronic space. So my idea of issuing a digital good would be to occupy that electronic money space. That's occupying a good 20-25% of transactions taking place right now in the country.
Got it.
However, it would be interoperable because it's one currency. So you don't have Visa, you have a MasterCard, then you have mobile payment by Digicel.
Right.
And I think NatCom has, its own thing.
Of course.
And I think the National Bank of Credit has one called L'Agent Cash. So you have 4 or 5 private e-money floating around. They are not interoperable, and they are not necessarily secure because they are not on a distributed ledger.
Right.
So all of those things, accuracy, the capability of reporting, accountability, auditability, and all of that would come with the issuance of a central bank issued digital currency.
Wow. No, that's incredible. And do you, I guess...
And let me just add to it, one of the weaknesses and the strength of the country is that the diaspora, the Haitians living abroad, they transfer approximately $4 billion a year worth of money to their parents, etc.
Sure.
What if instead of just transferring to Western Union, etc., they purchased that digital good on a portal,
of course,
and have the Haitian receive that digital good on their app of some sort, and so you would have $4 billion accounted for. First of all, the transfer fees that are enormous would be quasi-eliminated. So the country would save easily. I can say within that $4 billion worth of transfer, there is easily between $200 to $300 million of transfer fees that is, revenue for Western Union,
and
for
MoneyGram.
Those companies.
Yeah.
So that's quite a chunk of money that perhaps the population could use.
Of course.
that goes to the coffers of some of those companies. And in addition, that would all of a sudden give value to the good, because you would have a network of $2 to $3 million, 2 to 3 million people worldwide supporting that network. And as an expert in the token world, the value of a token is based upon the number of people that are trading with that with that token or that currency. So the good itself would gain value because it has something that is supported by millions of people. So not only could it be a utility or some type of currency, but it could also serve as a form of security. Because of the fact that it can be put on an exchange platform or several exchange platforms and get value, because people see that it is a real token that is really being used by real people, buying real things, etc.
Wow. So what I guess at the point, if the central bank is issuing it, and the central bank does things like monetary policy, right? They add supply and things of that sort. Would they just relinquish all of that? And they how Bitcoin only has 21 million, and that's all that's going to always be created. For what you're saying to make sense, the central bank can't just create their own new crypto good as they please. or do you think they would still do their normal banking activities on top of this cryptocurrency?
Well, they would continue to do whatever they are doing today, which is being the banks of banks.
Of course.
They don't do transactions.
Right.
So they would just be the wholesaler of that crypto good.
Wow.
And the crypto good, they would have to, when they first issue those crypto goods, they would have a set amount of it, so that it's not something that every couple of months or so they issue more of it, because it would lose value in that sense.
Exactly.
But they could make a calculation of, well, over the next 10 years, there will be so much usage, because we can see, how much electronic money is being transacted over time.
Sure.
So they would have some statistics of what that supply of money should be.
Of course.
And add a little bit on top of it, so that there is space for people to keep buying. One of the savings of issuing e-currency as well is the notion of seigniorage.
Okay.
Seigniorage is the money that you pay to have your money printed.
Right.
In the world of banking or central banking, that's the global word for it, is seigniorage. You pay a British company to print so many dollars and to issue coins, those metal coins for you.
Right.
And so you pay that company to have it, cannot be falsified, blah, blah, blah. But, it's falsified.
In fact,
anyway.
In the U.S., the penny, it costs more to make a penny than the penny's worth. Right?
So that's seigniorage right there.
Right.
So if somehow you issue digital currency in lieu of coins or some paper money,
right,
you save in that transaction.
Of course. No, that's interesting. That's a good point. And then you reduce the risk of counterfeit, all type of things.
Exactly.
So I guess I see how it can help the system. Do you see it eventually helping the people on the ground? I know, obviously, we talked about the remittance portion, but do you see like an everyday person, like let's say an artisan that lives in Jacmel that sells art on the side of the road? Do you see that person selling their art? I see you have some beautiful Haitian art behind you. Do you see them selling some of that art for this crypto?
Absolutely, because an artisan comes to do some plumbing work or maybe some artwork. He gets paid through a platform called Moncash.
Okay.
Which was generated or developed by the major telecom company, Digicel.
Right.
So I send him money peer-to-peer via Moncash.
Right.
So it can be done with the guy in Jacmel or in Lekai via Moncash. And really the population is currently using Moncash.
Right.
The only thing I would say is that Moncash is not, the currency is not controlled by the central bank. So the central bank doesn't have an idea of the monetary space that this electronic money occupies, first of all.
Sure.
Plus, eventually, that Moncash hasn't been hacked yet.
Right.
Things of that nature. Plus, the Moncash part, somehow the guy in Jacmel, he has to find a Digicel little office to go to a Moncash counter if he needs the actual cash.
Right. Yeah, this is like M-Pesa in Kenya. Same kind of model.
Right. Where at least M-Pesa, they just keep moving around without having to want to acquire the Pesa itself, because of the adoption of the Kenyan people of that, the M-Pesa. They never have the need to convert their M-Pesa into Pesa, because everyone is using M-Pesa.
Right.
Right. But right now, the Mocash situation is one whereby the guy, once he receives that electronic money, he is immediately looking all over the place for a Mocash office to
To
get
get real
his
money for it.
cash.
Right.
And that's not very efficient because eventually some insecurity issues when he gets the cash,
Of course.
somebody might kidnap him and all that good stuff.
Right. And keeping everything digital helps manage that.
Correct.
Awesome.
Correct.
And
Yeah.
do you think electricity is a concern? Right. People, black out and you can't use your phone to get your digital good or anything like that, or do you think that that's not a big challenge?
That's not a big challenge because the Haitian people have gotten so addicted to smartphones
Right.
that somehow, somewhere, they always find a way to get some juice.
Of course.
So that's like when this artisan comes to my house, the first thing he does is plug his smartphone so that he goes to work. And at
Right.
the end, he picks up his phone and it's full of juice. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I find all of them find a way to get juice. Or there is a guy, off the street that is selling electricity. I don't know how he does it.
Right.
Maybe he has a little inverter under his box.
That's
And
it.
he has, those plugs. People come in, you pay 1 or 2 goods
Right.
because you got some juice, and they find a way to take care of that part.
No, that's true. Let's pivot a bit. I see the vision, and I can see how it can help the people, it can help the system, and it can help the country. Do you think there's any other blockchain uses in Haiti?
Absolutely. Because I would say, well, getting out of the currency concept, using the Ethereum ERC20 platform, you have access to smart contracts.
Right.
And that, smart contract is something that you say you will do, and somebody will receive the service that you promised,
Right.
and you effectively pay for it.
Of course.
Well, in all walks of Haitian life, somebody always ends up protesting and not agreeing or
Right.
not delivering. And that's what happens at the state level.
Right.
And it happens between people as well. That's why at the beginning we talked about the mistrust factor that's creating
Yes.
that a friction in the society.
Right.
So if somehow through smart contracts for anything or
Right.
most things that people are doing, that it could be entered into a smart contract, people would deliver in order to get paid, and
Right.
they would, the person that received the good or the service would acknowledge that they received it before the other person gets paid.
Right.
We take out the emotions that I told you this, or you are my
Right,
friend,
right.
and all that. You're a good friend of so and so. This is my
Right.
cousin. Too many emotions are added to normal day-to-day transactions.
Right.
So in the smart contracts area, you have autonomy.
Right.
You don't have to rely, in fact, on a broker or a lawyer or a notary, because
Right.
very often frictions and conflict, go through those intermediaries.
Right.
So if electronic smart contract can take care of those things, it's a transparent, clean transaction, less costly because you don't have to pay the lawyer or the notary and pretend certain things.
Sure.
So the trust factor gets on board immediately because it's encrypted and it's on a shared ledger, so
Right.
everyone can see what happened.
Right.
Was the service delivered? Did you get paid? Etc. Etc. Then you have the backup factor. All documents are duplicated in several systems.
Right.
That's the blockchain factor.
Right.
Then you have the safety,
Yeah.
the speed of transaction.
Sorry to interrupt. The document being replicated is huge because I remember after the earthquake, you know, a lot of people's land documents were ruined and nobody knew how to do anything afterwards, who owned what was going on. So I could see blockchain, if you put like the land title records on the blockchain, and, you know, God forbid there's another, you know, natural disaster that wouldn't happen.
Correct.
Right.
So that's land titles is a very important application, a blockchain application that Haiti needs, because a lot of the conflicts are based on land discussions.
Okay.
And people fighting with one another about titles.
Right.
Because titles get generated by different intermediaries. Sure. And, you know, it creates major conflicts. So land titles is a good application. Identity management, right. You know, people's identity, national identity card get tempered into very often, right. Especially at voter registration times, etc., etc. Right. So that's another area where you could have a strong identification of everyone. So you don't have to be an intellectual to have a good identification card in the country. Health records is an important area also.
Right.
So let's say that you had diabetes and you were being cared for in Port-au-Prince, but all of a sudden you go and live in Jacmel.
Right.
Well, you know, the new doctor in Jacmel, he starts from scratch. He doesn't know that you had diabetes.
Right.
And let's say that you're not a person that's very conscious about, you know, your health records. Right. You say 2 things, but you had really 5 issues.
Right.
Well, he starts giving you medication on the other 3 issues that you shouldn't have been taking medications for and things of that nature. So you have people die actually over medications that they take and they should do all of that.
Medications that shouldn't mix with each other, right?
Yes, so the health record should have been transferred over or accessed to by everyone, and it's the same health record.
Yep.
You know?
Yep. No.
That kind of thing.
No, that's super powerful. Super powerful.
The other thing is business registration, for example. Why should that, you know, it takes 6 months for a business to be created in that country because of red tape, of this notary says this, and the lawyer says that, and the Ministry of Commerce. It takes you 6 months. So that's why Haiti is listed among the worst in terms of places to do business, just because of the registration process.
Right.
Plus, the name of the business can be tempered into that centralized database because somebody wants to put the name of your business when they are doing something wrong. And if we had the time, I would give you an example of some horror stories about names of business that people add a comma to, or add, you know, an additional letter.
Do you have one story you can share, maybe? Or I know yes. This is just one, and then we could talk about the other ones maybe another time.
Yeah. There was a major firm that provided you know, port types of services.
Sure.
You know, unloading and offloading of containers on a boat. And you have the port authority, you know, the national port authority that, you know, gets paid for using the ports, etc., etc.
Of course.
Well, there is a group, like an organized crime, that put itself on both sides of those 2 entities, and somehow the port services company was issuing checks to APN, which is the Autorité Portuaire Nationale, the National Port Authority.
Right.
Well, somehow those guys created an entity called APNI. So they added an I next to it. And it's a real story. And every check that was issued by that company to the Port Authority, they added the I to it. And those guys actually sift through $11 million US doing just that.
That's crazy.
That's extraordinary story.
And what? This is recently. This is the 90s. When was this?
This is around 2009, 2010. That was a corruption story because the people were identified. Some of them flew to Miami when they knew that things were about to happen.
Right.
And to tell you the truth, nothing happened.
Right.
So we're the mistress of the population vis-a-vis the government, because how can you have such a case that was documented and submitted to the justice system, and somehow it ended up in some type of a drawer?
And nothing happened.
Nothing happened.
Yeah.
Well, through the blockchain, that would not have happened because those permits would have gone through a ledger, a distributed ledger. So everyone would have access to whether the permit was received and the service was provided, and it would still be there, transparent.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Wow. Yeah. I mean, I think this is so powerful because, the U.S. obviously, I see blockchain as a nice to have, whereas Haiti is a must have, and you just illustrated why places like Haiti need it. Listen, I could have you here forever, but this is I know you're a busy man. Really appreciate you spending time with us this morning and sharing your vision.
Let me give you one additional application, because that would be we would miss that part.
Okay.
One of the problems of the larger population at large here in Haiti is access to funds.
Right.
To develop their businesses.
Of course.
Yeah, and the banks are just awful as far as interest rates and 22%, and they have to know the person, so emotions get involved as far as even getting a loan. The notion of crowdfunding, which we have in the US, and of the Jobs Act, and that's the way that the whole initial coin offering, and now you have the security tokens offering, which is taking over the ICO world.
Sure.
So in fact, an investment is really a security of some sort. So just imagine if we could do what we call asset tokenization.
Okay.
So a guy who has a building, he's had it, or his dad left it for him as a form of heritage, but he doesn't do much with it.
Right.
What if he could do a security token offering and have different people own a little piece of that building, and all of a sudden he has enough funds to refurbish the building, make it operational, and we'll have a real business out of that building. I just, gave you a simple example of how crowdfunding could help somebody that did not know what to do. But you have to do all of that on a ledger so that even the diaspora could feel confident in investing in that building, because it's transparent. People are not going to start doing hanky-panky stuff with your investment. So it becomes a form of security. And all of a sudden you would have had 2 or 3 million people from the diaspora that have the means today to integrate the economy.
No.
I just add that too.
No, I love it. That's huge. I mean, Haiti's been living off of nonprofits and NGOs. It's time for us to do for ourselves, and so blockchain can help that happen. So I love it. We can have you here even longer. I'm sure you have more visions.
No, I can. But,
no. But I want to respect your time, and maybe we'll have another episode. But if people want to follow you, get in touch with you, maybe help with this vision, where should they go? How should they find you?
I'm still in the antiquity space, because I'm not writing this on Twitter or Facebook or anything like that.
Shina put it on Medium. So, I'll. Are you on LinkedIn or?
Oh, they can follow Shaina, actually.
All right. So
I'm
Shaina
the
is
mentor.
exactly. So Shaina is Daniel's daughter, and she and Daniel's other daughter are very involved in trying to reinvigorate Haiti and kind of make it have a bright future. And so I'm going to link up to their Twitter accounts. And Daniel's profile as well. And so you can reach out to the whole family because the whole family has the same vision to make Haiti a better place. So thanks for coming on. Really appreciate it. And we'll be in touch.
Thank you, Fritz, for having me. And thank you to the listeners and the viewers.